House Oversight Committee ranking member James Comer is demanding the Biden administration preserve documents and information related to the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Yeah, the Republican says it is Congress's duty to review the decisions. Congressman James Comer joining us live with more. Great to see you, Congressman, as always. What's your end game behind these requests?
Well, we want to make sure the White House knows they need to preserve these documents. Right now, they've been able to enjoy 11 months with absolutely no oversight whatsoever from the Democrat-controlled House Oversight Committee. No Democrat in Washington has any interest in trying to hold Biden accountable for his failures. And when you look at all of his failures, nothing's been worse than the debacle in Afghanistan. Not only were 13 lives lost, but it also weakened our standing on the national stage. I think that's part of why we've got problems now between Russia and Ukraine and between China and Taiwan. So we want these documents preserved because we're sending a message loud and clear that in January 2023, when Republicans are in control of the House, we're going to provide oversight, and we're going to try to get down to the bottom of exactly what went wrong and provide the American people with answers.
Yeah, you know, so much happened in August. It is almost dizzying as it was all unfolding. You have American weapons in the hands of the Taliban. The fact that the Taliban asked General McKenzie if the United States wanted to control security of the area and we turned them down. Then, like you said, 13 service members died as a result. Usually, Congressman, when there is a catastrophic military failure or failure in general, somebody resigns or steps down. That hasn't happened in this situation. Why is that?
We don't know, and that's a great question. Every American deserves the answer. As you said, anytime there's been a mistake of that magnitude, somebody's been held accountable. Somebody in the military, someone in the administration. But in this instance, Joe Biden never took accountability. He never held anyone accountable. And from an oversight standpoint, if you just look at the American tax dollars that were wasted, the billions of dollars that we spent in reconstruction of Afghanistan is now at risk, not to mention the billions of dollars worth of military equipment that I believe is now in the hands of the Taliban.
Not good, in part because of the Afghanistan withdrawal. Here's Mike Pompeo on our standing in the world. Listen.
When we're weak, when we demonstrate we're not prepared to bring Americans home from Afghanistan, those leaders know that they can roll the United States.
Congressman, can the White House turn this around? Are they even capable?
Well, you would think that an administration will be capable. They have the most powerful military in the world. We have right now the strongest economy in the world. But I haven't seen anything out of the Biden administration that would give me confidence that they can show strength, that they can turn around the debacle, the reputation that he's earned from falling asleep at very important national summits, international summits, to the debacle in Afghanistan. Joe Biden just continues to disappoint. And I believe we're seeing a rise in tensions all across the world due primarily to the fact that countries don't respect or fear the United States like they did when Donald Trump was president.
Yeah, they certainly are, especially as the United States is, I guess, trying to get back into the Iran nuclear deal as well. In October, Congressman, the Taliban said that they would not work with the United States when it comes to suppressing or fighting ISIS, which should probably come as no surprise because the Taliban is also a terrorist organization. But where does that leave us when it comes to national security?
It leaves us very vulnerable. I mean, you look at the weapons that we left behind in Afghanistan. You look at the fact that Afghanistan, prior to our occupation, was a training ground for terrorist activity, for the Taliban. You've had ISIS activity. There's so much that can go wrong in Afghanistan. So we spent all this time and all this money in Afghanistan and just walked away and did it in a fashion that is practically an invitation for terrorists to come back to Afghanistan and create all sorts of bad activity. So national security is worse today because of the incompetence of the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Finally, you and your fellow oversight Republicans are urging Democrats to cease oil and gas industry investigations related to climate change and are demanding a hearing on rising energy prices. Congressman, why are they doing this investigation now? And the oil and gas industry, but more importantly, the oil and gas consumer is under so much pressure from Democrat and specifically Joe Biden's own misguided policies.
That's right. Everything that they've done with respect to energy policy has resulted in much higher prices for energy, not just gasoline. You've got natural gas prices that are going to be at record levels this winter at a time when Americans can't afford it. They're being hit with inflation, which is a tax on the poor, a tax on everyone. What we want to bring to light is the fact that every policy from shutting down the Keystone Pipeline to doubling the fees of drilling on federal lands, every policy of this administration has had an immediate impact on the American consumer. It's affecting the supply chain crisis. It's affecting everyday inflation on everyday working Americans. So we're going to try to bring to light the problems that have been created as a result of Biden's policies and offer solutions to try to give the Biden administration an opportunity to correct their wrongs.